This week, Drew Nelson and myself discuss the interesting year that we call 2020 and what we look forward to happening in our premium cigar industry in 2021, predictions, brand excitement, potential product launches. It will all be discussed as we get ready to wrap up another crazy year. Each of us will deliver what brands that we're looking forward to and who we think is going to make moves right here on episode 349 of Stogie Geeks. Who's going to make the moves? Who's going to sink? Who's going to swim? Who's going to fly? Who's going to crash? All of that will be discussed with our predictions right here on episode 349 of Stogie Geeks.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hosempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up. So we also have remote Drew, who is remote over in Texas. Look at you. You got some Stogie Geek swag going on in the background.
Got my banner.
Where are you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm all set up for the Stogie Geek mobile lounge.
Plasencia Cigars, perfected for more than 150 years. Yours to enjoy now.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome to Stogie Geeks episode 349. I am your host, Joe Hosempa. It is that wonderful, it's the most wonderful time of the year where we get to do predictions and talk about what's going on as we get ready to wrap up. I like this schedule for Stogie Geeks, like this time of the year and when we kick off the new year on the other end, because we get to talk about who we think is going to make some moves, who's not. We might get into a little bit of that top 25. If not, we'll definitely do that after the first of the year as well. I am your host, Joe Hosempa. Thank you for tuning in to Stogie Geeks. We have Mr. Drew Galvin, the little dark-haired kid from Texas, who is joining us remotely. Drew, what's up, buddy?
Man, I've been on hiatus for a long time. This Texas lockdown's got me going nuts. So here we are, reporting to you from the work dungeon. Everything's been going very well. We're a little bit of a cold snap, and here in the great Texas state, but other than that, surviving and smoking stogies and enjoying some whiskeys. What about you guys?
There you go. Hold on. We have who is joining us remotely, kinda, sorta. It is Nelson.
What's up, Stogie Geeks?
Nelson.
Drew, it looks like that Texas lockdown grows hair. I got to come down there.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. You might want to. Nelson, Stogie Geeks. Nelson, last time you were on Stogie Geeks, I got thrown out of a cigar shop.
Are we gonna go there?
You mean the stick police? You mean the stick police? You need the stick police? Another freaking person questioned my integrity. I'll tell you, that's 2021. That's 2020 for you. The good news is I only pissed off 2 people in the industry. Last year was 3, so I'm getting better.
True.
You know, maybe we won't have any more crybabies on the show. That'd be cool. And we'll move forth from there. So Nelson, I'm excited to see you after the show and connect with you. Drew, I can't even wait to see you after COVID. I just want to give you a hug, so I'll give you a virtual hug, bro.
Okay,
that's gonna be a big show.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah,
that's gonna be an awesome show.
Yeah. Maybe we'll like film it on Facebook Live and call it a real podcast, like everyone else. That'd be cool. Right. and then there you go. But so 2020, crazy year. I remember this year when it started, and like everyone else, we had no clue what we were in for the end of Q1. And some of us have survived, some of us have thrived, some of us have adapted, some of us has done well. Let's just jump right into it, guys. I want to have a discussion. Usually during no pandemic times or lockdowns and shutdowns, I have historically done on this show like what I look forward to, what companies, what type of events am I looking forward to happening in the next year. But let's do a little bit of a review of this year and what we're looking forward to for next year. And whichever one of you guys want to go first, go for it.
I first want to say that Patriots hat is really, really, that's a poor choice in hat wear today.
I think so.
Oh, that hat is fire.
Well,
That's a fire hat right there.
You know what's kind of cool? You know what's kind of cool about this hat? I have a Patriots visor that I wear in the summer when I golf and all that crap. And now it's like no one but busts my chops. Like, oh, yeah, Patriots, you like Tom Brady. It's like, dude, no, I really never liked Tom Brady, for sure. But then again, as a Yankee fan, I never really liked A-Rod or Giambi either. Oh, you mean, no, dude. But anyway, I think the Patriots, every once in a while, like everything else in life, it's just your turn, and sometimes it's not your turn. And that's why it's a good lesson to learn for people. Like, enjoy what you have, enjoy the blessings that you have of the day. But I think the Patriots would be all right.
All right,
I'll
let you have it this time, since we're uplifting the Patriot world over there in the.
Believe me, it's all good, man. It's all good. I somebody's gonna say something, so it's cool. But who's going first?
So Alec and Bradley, you want me to go first?
I'll hit it off. It's up to Nelson. He's in charge.
Okay, Nelson. Go ahead, Nelson. You're in charge. Actually, do we have any news? Because I'm kind of behind on the news.
No, Nelson's not doing news today because if we don't let Nelson go first, he's going to threaten us and leave and start his own podcast. So
no.
Yeah.
He's got a no compete clause, doesn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't know how to use a computer. Nelson, we can't hear you, bro. You need to turn yourself off mute. Hello? Macaroni salad. Right? Love it.
All right. Here we go. Sorry.
All right. It's all right. Let's start this over. So, Nelson, when are you going to start your own podcast and compete against Stogie Geeks?
It's already in the works.
Nice.
It's going to be great. Drew and I are working out a contract.
Oh, Drew too. Cool. I like it.
Wait a minute.
I like it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Good luck.
No one can replace Johnny.
I like it.
But I
Listen
do have
here,
news
little brother.
in my back pocket always in case Joe wants it.
Oh, no. Drew wants news. Go for it. Give us some news. Drew, you want news?
Yeah, I was just saying, little brother, big brother. Let's play nice today.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm digressing at this point. Move on. Let's go, Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson, give us some riveting news.
Oh, you really want news? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I actually caught this morning.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Nelson has news.
I know. I'm still waiting for Johnny to give me like a little.
We're working on it. I'm still waiting to take care of the promo, the intro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The news intro.
It's got like a ghost on it, a Paul Asadorian ghost.
Jesus Christ!
All right, Nelson, give us news. Come on.
All right, I'm trying here.
Hurry up, bro.
Saka is rolling out the Red Meat Lovers again, coming out next year, and he's teaming up with Smoke Inn on that one. So it will only be available from Smoke Inn.
Yep.
They're going to be coming out in boxes of 10. They'll be $12 a piece. And there's only 600 boxes coming out of those. And I know the last time, I think it was 2019. I think it was last year they came out with the Red Meat Lovers. I think it sold out, and it was one of those sought-after sticks.
Oh, yeah,
So look for that coming out next year. Saka, I got a quote from Saka that I thought was pretty cool that I captured. It says, you're not supposed to say aloud which of your children is your favorite. He goes, screw that. This box press Toro format of the Red Meat Lovers is hands down my favorite in my line. So that's right from Mr. Saka himself. So look out for that next year. That box pressed Toro that's coming out of the Red Meat Lovers.
Okay, cool. All right, Drew, let's kick us off.
Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna? Who do you think did good this year, and we're looking forward to next year, or vice versa? However you want to answer it. I'm smoking cigars, drinking Bloody Marys.
Since we're on Steve Saka, I'll go ahead and start there because he is on my list. So Steve Saka, enough said, right? Steve is a legend. DTT is without bullshit, and we all know that because Steve said it from his mouth. It's without bullshit. I wish more cigar boutiques or boutique cigars brands would just come out and do business just like that. DTT definitely, we interviewed Steve earlier this year, and he talked about how, you want to play, you got to pay. That's it. Get your cigars, pay for them. I'll bring them to you, or I'll drop ship them, and you guys sell them, and that's it. So I like that. Again, a quote from him is more than just a passion for us. They are our life. So, end quote. That's coming again from the Saka brand. Great business practices, principles. You're not going to see this company bulking and shifting to keep their cigars in your face. Every time DTT releases a cigar, it's like a fart in a wind. You sniff around for it, and then next thing you know, it's fucking gone because his cigars fly off the shelf because people know good quality comes from less words and more action, and that's what you get in Steve Saka cigars.
Okay.
So, for me, like I said, every time I turn around and try to buy something that Steve just released, and trust me, when I seen the Meat Lovers and I saw some of the other offerings that were just released, they were sold the fuck out like that. And I'm like trying to call, trying to get somebody somewhere to try to get me some stuff, and they're gone. So, but I'm not frustrated for that. I love it. I like what he's got, and when I do get my hands on it, I'll definitely enjoy what everybody else gets to enjoy. So, Steve Saka for sure, DTT. There's no need for member coins, stickers, and swag.
Even though they have it.
Even though I like the Sasquatch, the Saka Squash, because it's fucking cool. But, I'm just saying, I mean, that's a guy right there, along with our following audience, it's full of integrity. So
love that Saka Squatch. It was one of my prized possessions 2020, but I got two things on that. So one, Drew, definitely hit me up. I'm a huge Saka guy, so if it's something you can't get and you want, I probably have it. But number two, and Joe, I actually meant to ask you this question, and Dunbarton Tobacco was actually a great example of this. At what point does a company stop being boutique and starts becoming more of a mainstream cigar company? Because to me, and I don't know the definition of this, I'm admitting this, but in my opinion, I don't know that Dunbarton is really a boutique company anymore. But I'm wondering what Joe thinks about that.
Nelson, are you really trying to get me fired or in more trouble?
Yes.
Jesus. First of all, I appreciate the question, right? I appreciate the question. As your Stogie Geeks listeners know, my co-host or interviewees don't email me questions and whatnot. As far as show prep, but that's a great question, and I will answer it with the fullest integrity and honesty, for sure. But that question is not up to me to answer, but I will answer it because you asked me, and if you want to have a candid discussion about anything in this industry, I certainly have the balls to look the industry in the face and say, yo, this is my opinion. And again, the expressive views of this opinion do not reflect Stogie Geeks management and or its staff. However, the Boutique Cigar Association had a podcast on this about defining boutique, right? And I don't want to go poo-poo on anything that they do. I think it's a super cool movement, but I don't understand why we need to categorize stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I don't understand why, and this happens a lot, especially now with COVID. We got to find little groups to get our message across, to have a bigger voice and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like if you're you, okay, and you do you, that should be enough. And if that's not enough for you and your consumers, then you need to fix you. Right? Same thing with Stogie Geeks, right? We're not going to partner and go on another podcast network. We're not going to go over here and do that, even though we're part of another network with security, but we're not partnering it up. We're not two podcasts and one on the same network trying to get audience, share audience like that. We're us, and that's that.
Right.
And so that doesn't answer the question because I'm about to answer the question, but I wanted to set the platform because I don't want to take away. If you are looking for a true definition of what boutique, Nelson, I suggest you look up the what's it called, Drew? Protecting the Legacy off the top of my head? Is that it?
Protecting Legacy?
Yeah. Go to Podcast Catcher, Protecting the Legacy. There's 3 guys over there. We've interviewed 2 of them, 2 of the 3, right? I still got to get Mr. Viante on the show. And, you know, it's like they spent a few episodes defining like what makes boutique, because even some people who qualify themselves as boutique sell over 1 million sticks, right? So my answer is, even though they don't have an exact definition, my definition of boutique is someone in a company that has the position and tobacco enough to pivot and be creative, but also within their current line, but I don't want to set a number on it. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, it's small craft. This whole industry is a craft, but it's small herb blends that are not mass produced, and within that company they can pivot for profile, right? So like, you know, a perfect example who does very, very well, Eric Espinoza, sells a ton of cigars. Is he boutique? I mean, quite frankly, in my opinion, he's the borderline threshold, in my opinion, as far as volume and all that. But he still has that like small mystique, craft. Let me go in depth. You know, not only am I going to do the 601 La Bamba, I'm going to go this with the wick, or I'm going to go deeper with stick. Yeah, exactly. LeBron, right. So he goes. So it's a company that goes deeper within their line, but stays small enough for craft to pivot within the line. Does that make sense, Nelson? Did I articulate that?
I actually liked your earlier answer where I thought you were going was, why do we? And you did actually say it is, you know, why are there categories? It's just a cigar. Right?
Yeah, but well, you know why they want to have categories is because they want a voice, right? And at the time, Predex, which my prediction, you know, and everybody told me I was off my rocker, including other podcasts and other manufacturers since 2014, right? Like, you know, when Predex was there, like they were gonna have to have some sort of a movement to have a voice heard if the FDA came down on that type of stuff. So they kind of formed and then did their line, but like there are some super cool brands that are boutique, but there are some ultra boutique as well. There, you know.
Oh, definitely.
But the beer and the wine and the craft industry, they're the same. Even the quilt industry, right? I know people will make quilts, right? And you could buy like a quilt and have it crafted and all that stuff, and a guild can make it and all. Like it's wherever you want to take it, but you can pivot within the business model to go deeper in your brand. Now, I don't know if they go deeper in the brand because maybe that's the only tobacco that they can get their hands on. Right. You know, the argument can go 2 ways, right? Well, they're boutique because this is all they can buy or all they can get their hands on for this. And the bigger guys have bigger purchasing power and all the economies of scale that kind of go with that. Or the other argument is, hey, they want to hone their craft and go deeper inside their brand. So deeper inside your brand is my answer. But you shouldn't have to define yourself as boutique. And then
I like that answer best.
Dunbarton, like, I mean, you know, Saka, I don't want to put words in his mouth or ever speak for him, but from my experience with with having him on the show and whatnot, you know, you've gone from a bigger corporate company to now something smaller. I mean, he admitted he's clearly much smaller. Is he boutique? Doesn't matter if he produces 4 million sticks. If the company's small and can pivot quickly, in other words, he can create this stick, that stick quicker than the bigger guy. And you want to hone in on your craft and experiment with stuff a little bit better or a little bit more efficiently than some of the big guys, and call yourself boutique. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, with Saka, like I said, you know, I mean, he's got that no nonsense, and really resonates with everybody across the United States, I think. And I could talk to people in Hawaii. I could talk to somebody in Germany. And I mean, when we talk about cigars on our own private conversations, I mean, these names come up very consistently. And so I think Dunbarton and Tobacco will definitely, like I said, nothing I need to think about. He's fucking doing it, and that's just what it is.
Drew, you're looking forward to Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust doing some super cool stuff in 2021.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's gonna have his red meat out. Not his red meat, but the red meat cigars. Steve, if you're listening, I'm sorry I meant it that way, but that's not what I meant. No, but I mean, yeah, you can expect him to definitely, shell out these cigars, and his regular and how he's been doing it. I think it's been like every 3 to 4 months something has peaked, and he's ready to announce it and get it out there. And I'm jockeying myself and my buying team to make sure that we grab stuff while it's there. And at the same time, and it's available. It's just that his stuff sells a lot quicker than most. I mean,
of course it does, because it's limited run. And by the way, hats off. Like, which is better, Nelson?
Right.
Your news. How many boxes off the top of my head? I forgot what you said.
Well, so
600. Does that
this one was 600.
Okay. Okay. Stop right there. I want to prove a point. I want to keep the show moving. Right. Which is better, selling 600 boxes, or which now it's cost to clear, right? So in other words, he sold them to the retail store or cigar club outlet or wherever. They got in the consumer's hands. They're now gone and sought after, traded on the aftermarket forums and all the crazy stuff that you belong to, Nelson, and sought after, or having 1,200 sticks and only 600 of them go, and you're still sitting on inventory, which didn't cost to clear, which is a better business model. You're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see, when I do my 2021 prediction more towards the end of the show, please don't let me forget this, right? Yeah. Right? When I do, that's one of 2 predictions overall in the industry that I have. You're going to see a lot more small batch stuff going out the door. And by the way, the big guys who have some of my votes, who I'm going to vote for here in 2021, right? Or not really vote for, but talk about, right? The big guys are going to mimic that business model because it's cost clear, it makes money.
Right.
You don't have distribution problems. You don't have to worry about distribution. You're going to worry about your sales rep in freaking Oklahoma who sold 10 boxes, but only 5 can ship. You only got to worry about freaking, the batch go. All those problems go away when you're smaller.
Well, that's what, and what's, with that, I mean, that Miami Cigar and Company, that announcement they made over a week ago, I mean, that right there just shows you. I mean, what you're just saying, that's already happening.
They're doing it
with a company like that, where they're,
Sure, and you don't even know, like when I owned the cigar shop, we didn't have reps. We didn't have cigar reps. We called freaking out of turf J.C. Newman and said we need these boxes. We called Miami Cigar and said we didn't have a rep. Like, it's crazy. You get the rep, and then we all have events because the brainiacs that own cigar shops. Oh, we're gonna have a meet the rep party, and we're gonna do buy 3 get 1 free. Like, dude, it's a freaking $10 stick. You're gonna buy 3 get 1 free. People are gonna fly. Like, the first year people want to meet the rep. Sure, there are some reps that have a following. But they only have a following here because they created a category of themselves, or maybe they're super cool dudes or gals to hang out with.
Yep. Yeah, you always see
niche. You don't need nipples. Some companies have nipples and cleavage all over the place. Freaking trying to freaking get get Facebook freaking views and whatnot. Right. It's like, dude, like, if you want to see nipples, I've been working out. I mean, I'll give you like a shot if you want. I mean, no
one wants to see that.
I don't know, man. I've been freaking boxing again, so freaking, let's do it. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, and I have mixed feelings about Miami's decision with there, but let's face it, man, like, you don't know what their numbers are, you don't know what they got going on by the scenes, you don't know if they're sitting on a boatload of inventory and freaking you don't know if the sales reps are freaking outperformed, but they're paying them higher and they got distribution. Like, you don't know. You know what I mean?
Well,
And the problem is everybody in this freaking industry who has a microphone or a Facebook freaking live freaking account and thinks it's a podcast freaking turns around and freaking, you know, says get them on the show and talk about why you would do that. Why was that a business model? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, the whole reorganization of the company's business model, the changes are going to include restructuring of their field operations, management positions, and basically affecting the whole divisions of their company. Man, that's a major. Is it a COVID thing? Is it just that they're seeing all these other businesses pivot and now they're trying to catch up? Dare I say, because I piss everybody off in the industry anyway, dare I say, is it a freaking country thing? Right. Is Nicaragua kicking the crap out of freaking Dominican freaking for demand? Is that a legitimate factor? I can tell you that, and I've been saying this over and over. Nicaragua, the consumers speak of it, so it has to repivot, and you gotta figure that all out. And they got to figure that all out. So is Miami on your 2021 hot list, Drew? I'm just gonna be I'm gonna be watching that closely. Just seeing. I have some friends here in Texas, Noel Rojas, who's rewriting the book, cigar industry, business. You and I both know that. We've talked with him. We've seen him in action. And what his repertoire is about, self-educating and just going with it and moving forward. So, there's a lot of things, I just want to see how this is going to wash out, so to speak. But, very interesting that they have to, basically reorganize the entire companies.
Do you want to stay on Miami? Because a component of Miami is one of my watch out for 2021. So I to keep the show moving. Yeah. One of my predictions is like La Aurora, they produce a Nicaraguan stick, okay, with the La Aurora 107 Nicaragua, okay, and the local jabroni macaronis we speak to in the shop, like, it's all right, Dude, do you understand what this is? Like, it's a successful transition from a company that has historically been done everything Dominican until now, and a couple have tried and failed from a consumer demand perspective. Romeo and Julieta comes to mind. Okay, a couple have tried and collaborated. Right? What was the stick? I have it. It's in my thing. AJ, and it's brand new. AJ and somebody. Nelson, help me out.
Let's see.
Brand new.
Fernandez.
Sorry, I was on mute. I don't remember. AJ Fernandez in some way?
Johnny or Gustavo, can you look in my black humidor and it's right on top? Just shoot me the name in my head. I'm having a brain fart. Right? It's in my black humidor on my desk. Yeah. It's AJ and somebody off the top of my head. All right?
Jock.
No, don't worry about it. We'll keep it going. We can make things happen here, right? They're just going to buck it in my ear and they'll get it.
Live show.
It's a live show. It's fine, right? So anyway, is La Aurora going to look at making more? It says AJ Fernandez on it. It's right on top, and it's a collaboration. It's that and another one. It's Red Label, Goose.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Goose, our producer, doesn't know a lot about cigars, but he's a great producer. Johnny's... There you go. Okay, great. Oh, perfect. Oh, my God. It even proves my point. So Romeo and Julieta does a collaboration with AJ Fernandez to do that after Romeo and Julieta really didn't have a well sought after Nicaraguan transition when they're known for Dominican. Thus proving my point. Thank you, Goose. Right. So it's like so you're gonna see that collaboration. You're gonna see that there, and Manuel and Noah successfully did it. It's a great blend. I've had that blend. And it doesn't break the bank. Super cool blend. Are they going to come out with something new? I venture to say that they might start messing around with some more Nicaraguan type stuff, right? In there, which they're historically known for, obviously being from Dominica, right? So, or being a Dominican cigar. So, therefore, looking very forward to what they're going to do in 2021.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
All right, Nelson.
There he is.
Sorry, here I am. My first was to say, I know this is like mute, off mute.
Yeah.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah, it's
Whack-a-mole.
wicked hard.
It's like whack-a-mole. My first was also Sokka, so I'll only add because Drew has already said some stuff about it, and I don't want to repeat what he said. But I mean, the reason I picked Dunbarton, I actually don't think they do small batches. Yes, they do, but he has a lot of stuff that isn't, and it's great, which led me to that question. But
Yep.
you know, he came out with the Brulee Blue this year. You know, that had thousands of sticks, and that thing sold out, and it was amazing. Like I really enjoyed that cigar. He just came out with the Mi Querida Firecracker. He had the blue band one, I think it was last year, and this year's the red band one, and that was fantastic. And he just everything that man put. It's the only brand, and yes, call me a fanboy, whatever, but it is the only brand I enjoy every single cigar. So I am stoked to see what Sokka has coming up in 2021, because if this year was any indication, we're going to have some great smokes next year. And I even I got so nerdy about it, I was even looking, because he gets most of his stuff from Nicaragua. So I was looking, and, you know, they've had the hurricanes and a cyclone down there. And, you know, the tobacco for the future may be affected a little bit, but they have tons of aged tobacco that was not impacted. They do have the tobacco from this year that was not impacted. It's the stuff that was kind of growing. So, you know, in a year or two, there may be an impact as a result of what happened. So there's plenty of tobacco for Steve to work with. So I am totally stoked to see what he comes out with next year.
Oh yeah. And you know something, he reminds, just from speaking with him, is one of those dudes, like his brain doesn't stop, right? His brain doesn't stop. It reminds me a lot of, you know, has a lot of qualities like a Nes Plasencia, right? You know, within their craft, like a Noel like a Noel Rojas, like the brain just doesn't stop because they legitimately love what they do, right? It's the same with me, right? Like you know, I legitimately love like where I am, position wise, job wise, what I do, and whatnot. My brain don't stop. You know what I mean? Like I always want to like try to do better at whatever thing I'm doing in or out of Stogie Geeks and stuff like that. And your brain doesn't stop. And yeah, he's like a mad scientist, dude. Like, and by the way, you kind of have to be a mad scientist, like you know, like Manuel and Noah. You know what I mean? Like Aurora's produced some super cool stuff, man. You know, consumers love it, right? You know, what is like really terrible that they have? Like, I mean, there isn't a lot. You know what I mean? Like they all have their place, and they've done well, right? Nesta, same thing, rolls a lot of people's stuff. Alec Bradley's got some good gems in there and whatnot. Yeah, you got a few misses and stuff like that, but you know, it's all about the journey. And I think now with these podcasts that are all sprouting out and social media and influencers and all of that type stuff, like it's like we get the information faster and we get it all mixed up sometimes, because it's all, as consumers, we're getting smashed with it, right? And you know, as Stogie Geeks, right, you guys are on the press release email. We get the press release, and then I look, and like I literally noticed that like other vendors, they just copy and paste the press release and put that out as news, and it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, that's how the industry works. That's how a lot of industry works. I've done many press releases within my career and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like he's passionate about what he does, like truly like mad scientist, and wants to push the boundaries, which is great. I think from a consumer perspective, that's why everybody loves him. Cool. All right, Drew, give us another one.
Noel Rojas.
Oh,
Yes.
come
So
on.
we all know Noel Rojas
What do you mean? Whoa. Let's stop. What do you mean? Oh, come on.
because he's got.
It's like we have the same exact one.
I sent you my list, brother. I sent you my list.
No, dude, it's who you like. It's what you like.
Yeah.
I know. I think this is perfect, right? It means we all have similar.
Well,
similar
good.
likes.
That means we can talk about more stuff as we during the show time that we have. So perfect.
This is actually great. Yeah.
And,
All right,
and for
Drew.
me, what I'm going to say about Noel is this: Noel is defiantly taking the small ring gauge to the top. Why defiantly, people may ask? Because that's a bold move. I mean, that was a bold move that a few years ago, I've heard other bigger, larger cigar companies say, I'm not going to do that because I feel like I'm cheating the consumer out of value in the cigar. I'm like, really? And and I've heard that multiple times. But here you go. You have Noel Rojas. No one in the world would take on the small gauge cigar to the top. So this veteran of cigar rolling maker, blender decided, why not him? And guess what? Everybody is taking notice. Everyone is taking notice. Noel has and will forever be evolving in the cigar industry because not nonchalant and stagnant has no place in his cigars DNA, in his cigar DNA.
It does in retail shops here in the Northeast.
Yeah.
You know how many freaking, I'm like, oh yeah, just getting the wheels. I don't want to bring it in. I know you don't want to make money as a retail shop. I get you. Go on.
Right. Yeah, so you won't catch him being stagnant. You won't catch him being nonchalant. He's just going to be always evolving. Business acumen, knowledge of tobacco regions, and just straight no nonsense. He has sorted all of this out, it seems. So check it out for yourself, because I know Noel Rojas, after all this is said and done, there will be a great book of business coming from that gentleman. And when you read it, you'll understand and be thanking the cigar gods. This OG, Noel Rojas, is part of the Brother of the Leaf and, basically became a cigar god in our eyes.
So you're looking forward to a great 2021 with Noel Rojas?
Yeah, I know because I'm here in Texas and this is our backyard. Noel's literally right now from me, literally 12 miles from me. His warehouse, his business, his offices, and I get privy to understand the collaborations that are coming out with others. His new stuff, that's coming in. It's awesome. It's just fabulous what this guy has evolved to once he got sorted through the cigar industry. I mean, he had his early going on and he had to separate himself from some other things, and he didn't stop. He just said, fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up my bags and dust off my jeans and move forward. And that's what he's done. And everybody now is like, wow, they're giving him, not giving him, he didn't have to earn it, but they gave him the respect anywhere he goes, anywhere in this country and beyond, to offer his offerings to y'all and to enjoy. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things going on at the Noel Rojas Ranch, and I look forward and very proud that I have him. I have access to him. I'm right here. I'm in the backyard. I got underground cigar shop here that they do a phenomenal job of making sure that not only people like him and Holt and all the other guys come through, they get they get a lot of love.
Okay, Nelson.
Well, my second one was Noel Rojas as well. So what I'll say about that is, he was born in Cuba, obviously a master blender. From what I read about him, he actually, while he was in school, he would work in the tobacco fields. So he basically had like a work co-op he was doing while he was in school. And I mean, the man grew up in tobacco. So, if you ever, Joe, actually, I will give him credit. He's the one that introduced me to Noel's work. I tried the Blue Bonnet. I think it was the Lancero, Joe. I can't remember, to
Joe?
be honest.
Joe?
Yes.
Oh, no,
yes.
Drew.
Joe Hollywood.
Drew introduced me.
Oh, get out of here.
No, I BS you not. I remember Drew sent me a freaking care package, and I remember I tell this story. God, it's like every episode. Nelson, do you even appear on these episodes? I've told the story a gazillion times. I called Drew, and I'm like, who the hell is this Noel Rojas guy? And he's like, dude, you interviewed him on Stogie Geeks. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. It's like, I was like, dude, you need to get him on the show stat. And he texted me his cell phone number, called him up, talked to him. I have some more to add to that when it's my turn. Sure. But yeah. So, Drew, don't thank me. Drew introduced me to Noel Rojas and forever formatted my 2020.
So since that was so, Drew, thank you, because Joe. It's funny how it went full circle. But I've since tried the statement, and both cigars were fantastic. So I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. I mean, Joe. We just interviewed Lee Marsh from Stolen Throne.
Lee Marsh. Yep.
Noel Rojas was the blender for that. So I mean, everything the guy touches is great. So. Yeah, I agree with Drew. Like this is a guy to look out for in 2021, 100%. I feel like he's going to have some great stuff coming out.
Yep. Yeah. I third. We all knew I was going to do Noel Rojas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I really think that he is like, I don't know, like in boxing, you look at someone and you're like, okay, like, well, we've always like looked at someone who was up and coming, and you're like, oh yeah, well, we call it like the future, right? It's like one of our things that we've done since we were boxing, right? Since we were kids, and not that he is like an up and coming or and stuff like that, but what I like about it is his craft, like Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, like it comes with tutelage as well. So like if you once COVID passes and we can get through this, it might be 2022 or whatever, but like, and we can go to events again and you happen to catch him at an event, it will be like one of those events that you'll never forget. Like, you know what I mean? Because with him comes with tutelage, and it's not like scripted and whatnot. Like, he's a super cool dude, and like we had our Stogie Geeks interview, and then like we had another hour with him, just us off air, just talking about stuff and whatnot. And he's one of those people that in a post-COVID era, when we can physically go to events and meet him and do that there, like he will change your perception of the industry, and he will leave a mark on you in whatever way. And I think he's going to do some definitely super hot to watch out for 2021. And again, he could stay smaller, right? Not in a lot of shops, but you're selling sticks, man. That's what it's about. It's about having fun, selling sticks, and doing your thing and being you. And that's it total support, and looking forward to what he's going to come out with in 2021. No question.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Give us some more.
All right. So my next guys are Alec and Bradley. Kentucky's finally going to ship this or has shipped this week. And I say finally because I know that, we all know that from talking with Alec and Bradley about the delay in that was because just of what's happening with COVID and getting the logistics together and getting that out. So these two guys, these two gentlemen, I'm not gonna call them boys. I think their dad and their grandfather are the only ones that I will say that have that right to do that. But these two gentlemen and their behind the scenes support team have used this year to hyper focus on any think tank ideas for their new blend developments for the upcoming year. They have come out with some interesting blends and branding in the past. The younger duo has certainly caught my attention when it comes to new offerings being added to their portfolios. So I've got my hands on some of the new stuff coming out. I've already got in with the shop and told them that as soon as it hits the doorstep to send me, a few of the sticks. And like I said, these guys are continually looking at their tobaccos and thinking of the next offering that they want to offer under their portfolio. So kudos to them. Their dad has their father who started the business. Really has two great kids, sons, that are following in his footsteps and developing great things.
Nelson?
Let me unmute myself. I know
Wake
I'm
up,
struggling
Nelson.
with the mute today. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
My
I know.
bad.
It's a finger. It's the index finger. You go press it. It's pretty difficult.
I know. I got fat ones. What do you want from me? HVC was my next pick. I personally discovered HVC this year.
Yep.
They came out with a couple of new Vitolas for the HVC 500 and the 500th anniversary. And I forget how I just someone I think in a humidor recommended it. I tried it. Fucking stick was phenomenal. So then from there, obviously they came out with the Black Friday recently. They also released the hotcakes. I mean, every single one of those was fantastic. I had the opportunity, actually, Joe, I can't even remember if you were there, but Rainier was at Churchill's, which is the lounge I belong to, or used to. And he was a great guy. I mean, I really liked his passion, and he was asking me, why I liked certain cigars. I mean, he was really all about the complexity and build of the cigars, and I could see his attention to detail. So that to me carries over into 2021. I'm really hoping they come out with some great stuff next year. I think it's definitely a company to watch. The hotcakes, I can't get enough of those.
Yeah.
I've gone back over and over. I think you got a couple of boxes or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, just keep an eye out for HVC. I think they got some good stuff coming out for sure.
Did you ever have a hot cake in the morning?
Are we talking about cigars?
Yeah, the first stick in the morning.
No, I haven't.
You never, dude. Have a hot cake in the morning when your palate's fresh.
With coffee?
Whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean? I mean,
Little
Bloody
anesthetic.
Mary or coffee, either one, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I agree. I agree. I'm HVC, certainly looking forward to that. I wonder if they're gonna go like, it's so tough, right? Because right now at this time of year, the Black Fridays came out. They came out every year, so you're riding on that. It's limited run. They're super tasty this year. I love the size this year, even though last year's blend was a little bit stronger in my opinion. And one of my only complaints of the 2019 was the size, a little bit of a ring gauge for me. But I got you can't have everything the same size. They have to go with what they want to do, obviously. And then this year, it's super tasty. It's not as strong as the 2019. So when you're riding that a couple months before a hot cake hits the Northeast, right, and whatnot, you're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just hope that they continue to get sticks that are like of that caliber and not filler sticks. You know what I mean? Because like I've had other sticks in their lineup, and they're like, they're good, but they're not like, they don't have like that wow factor that the hot cake has. In my opinion.
You're not looking for.
And maybe I'm the only one.
facings.
And maybe I'm the only one to have courage enough to say like the wow factor, right? But like I think as consumers, we all like the wow factor. And Drew brought up a couple of great points, and you, Nelson, like Drew with the Noel Rojas size and how but it has wow factor, and and you need wow factor. If you're not going to play for 70 cents more, I get a bigger stick and have to go to a bigger ring gauge size, right? It drives me nuts when retail owners or workers, tell me, well, they like the bigger ring gauge because for 70 cents, or cigar shop patrons for that matter, well, for 70 cents more, I get this and whatnot. It's like, dude, you're depriving yourself of an experience. Spend the extra 70 cents. You're spending average $10, $12 a stick anyway. What the hell, 70 cents, right? Because you're depriving yourself the flavor from experimenting with different sizes. That's my message to the Stogie Geeks. But you don't have to go for the bigger ring gauge because you think it's getting more tobacco. I've smoked Robustos, hotcakes specifically. That's taken me an hour and a half, right? You bullet cut it, right? And it'll take you an hour and a half to get through, if you smoke
and
slower.
bigger doesn't mean better.
And bigger doesn't mean better. And someone like Noel Rojas educated people, educates his consumers how bigger is not better and why. And we're not going to get into that, right? But, I just hope that they can continue that wow factor with HVC for sure. That's what I have to say about that. Drew, jumping backwards, to you, Alec and Bradley. Like, Alec Bradley, because it was under the same umbrella, so really I had more because it's really like a 2-for-1, right? But Alec and Bradley was one of my cigar companies to watch for 2019 because they got a lot of momentum. They got a lot of momentum with that Project 40, and if you go back in the Stogie Geek archives of just this year, I smoked the Project 40 October of last year for the first time. Spoke about it at the end, probably about a year ago. At least more than a year ago, right? And then I was like, wow, I wonder how it's going to be when it comes out with a Maduro, and yet here we are now, right? They're coming out, they're launching that Project 40 Maduro there. They have Alec Bradley Q1, Q2, Stogie Geeks. We are going to be having an interview of a concept that they're coming up with that I don't have the liberty to discuss on the show at this date there, but I will forever make reference to this date when I reveal what is going to be public in there. But like, they got some super cool concepts coming out in 2021 that are going to be rolled out to us as consumers and whatnot. And December 4th of 2020, this review show will, at least in our archives, right, will be forever remembered. Like, remember when Joe said, like, this little secretive spot? And mark my words, like, Alec Bradley is going to make a boatload of noise in 2021 as a company. And not only Alec Bradley with Alan Rubin and what they do, but the Alec Ampus and, for those of you Stogie Geeks who are listening and not watching, the ones with the Ampus and are Alan's kids, Alec and Bradley. We interviewed them on the show, so you definitely want to check out that interview. It's in the archives, right? And what they're coming up with, like, don't be surprised if they come up with another 2 sticks and then they're at 5 or maybe 3 sticks, my prediction, then they're at 6, and they're all different. And that's what I like about them, Alec and Bradley, is their concept there. They are the future, if we were going to use boxing lingo, right?
That's correct.
They are in there. And if you look at them conceptually, is it boutique? It's part of a bigger company. They have access to more stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But like, Alec Bradley as a company in 2021 is going to have positive vibes all over it. And let's face it, 2019, sure, that they're in the Cigar Aficionado top 25 and all of that stuff, and they've always been players, but they're organically coming into I don't want to say a reemergence, but they're going to have a lot of super cool positive things coming up Q1, Q2, which gets ready for the big show over at PCA, IBCPR, whatever the heck it's going to be called, and if it's going to happen virtual or whichever. But mark my words, December 4th of 2020, you will be hearing some super cool things happening from Alec Bradley as a company, and certainly Alec and Bradley, who's a division of that company as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they were one of my lookout fors as well.
Yeah. Like I said, going back to Nelson on the HVC cigars, that hotcakes, man, that you guys sent me. I believe I had the number 4, 52 by 4.5. The number 4, man, that's just it is a really good cigar. And I've already purchased other ones, to replenish my the few that you guys sent me. So good cigar. Aganorsa leaf. It's out of their farms. Jeez, am I saying that wrong? Aganorsa Farms. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I've been mispronouncing them since 2017. So
Yeah,
go
great
with it.
stuff. Great blends. I mean, they got some tobaccos in their portfolio that they have reached out to other manufacturers just from behind the scenes, people I get to speak with on my side of the world. And yeah, it's just really it's really super cool. I mean, they've got some things that they have came available because other cigar manufacturers had to pull out of because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Finances. It makes a company pivot real fast, or just have to abandon that ship. So there's a lot of great tobacco that's there, and I'm not saying just with them. There's other farms as well that came across this, but now there's some good tobaccos available, or have been some good tobaccos available for everybody to get to and source and develop a good blend. So, but HVC, yeah, very excited about them. I can't wait to see what they got coming up as well. There was a couple things there that I wanted to get my hands on, like the San Ysidro, and I haven't been able to get a hold of those yet. But I heard down in Miami, I just got to go down there and pick some up, or have somebody pick some up for me. The 500 anniversary cigar was the other one that I was looking for, just because of other people that I've spoken to on other forms of media. Have led me to try that stick out and see what it comes up with on my palate. So yeah, HVC, definitely look forward to seeing them in 2021.
Right.
Nelson,
And I don't know. I think Nelson's gone.
is he?
Yeah, I don't see
Did he
him
go
on
to
my
the
screen.
restroom? Did he go on a potty break?
I don't know. He disappeared.
There's no potty breaks.
I don't know. He just disappeared. It's probably computer problems. He uses Windows. That's strike one right there. All right. You got to use Linux, I guess, or Mac,
Yeah.
maybe. But
So you want me to go into my other one then?
Yeah, you go. Yeah, man. This is a
Keep
pirate
going?
ship, bro. We keep rolling.
All right. So my last one I have on my list is just, and this is kind of a broad spectrum, but cigar box subscriptions. It's easy. It's convenient. You click, you pay in a week's time. Voila. Your cigars are at your doorstep. They fit the consumer need in this time and forever. I mean, I still go to B&M's and pick up my cigars and sticks because I want to say hi to people and show my face and talk about things or whatnot. But I mean, this is a great way. I mean, I love it. I mean, I'm in love with it now. I've cut it down to a few because I've got so many cigars.
All right, so for 2021, you're talking about cigar subscriptions is what you're excited about.
Yeah,
cigar clubs.
Cigar
right,
clubs.
yep.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
Like I said, they fit the consumer need. There's great blends, new offerings that can be had for a fair price. Privada Cigar Club is one of them that I've held on to. And then they're now offering their cigars to brick and mortars so that they can support the brick and mortars. Something that Brian has said that he wanted to do, and so he's done that and moved forward. So there's quite a few of them there. If you go online and you type in cigar clubs, I mean, you're going to get all kinds of them. I mean, the 8 that I put down on my list today was Stogie Burger, Privada Cigar Club, International Cigar Club of the Month, Southern Cigar Company, Cigar of the Month Club, Rare Cigar Club, cigarclub.com, and Original Premium Cigar Club. So there's that's a mouthful. There's definitely this business. These businesses. There's a lot for a lot of B&Ms and for a lot of the cigar manufacturers to really rake up from this, from this pandemic. I mean, this is something that I think that a lot of cigar manufacturers can go, well, why not have an online presence ourselves,
right?
Or have a store or have a co-op store, get with other people and just have the store, available. I mean, I like I said, I still like to walk in my brick and mortar shops and enjoy the camaraderie with my fellow cigar leaf brothers and sisters and talk about life and things of that nature. But when it comes down to sometimes you have to, like here in Texas with this pandemic. I mean, we are the red nose of the country. I mean, people are Texas is like the hotbed for COVID, and so right now, yeah, I'm back to limiting my time at the cigar lounge, picking up the cigar club subscriptions and ordering my stuff from there. If I can, a lot of stores have transitioned to online, so I do that curbside pickup. But again, I think these guys are great. They're great for the industry. I believe that they'll get, if they're not already better, they'll get even much more wide, larger in the coming years.
And I also think that the concept of 2021 being having cigar clubs be popular and all that type stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of the brick and mortars, those B&Ms are that could be like their next pivotal move in their first step to becoming online as well there. And I certainly think that will be something that will be popular. Wondering if that's going to be like a trend thing. I think it'll last post-COVID for sure. And then like everything else, the market will get flooded right quick with them via the brick and mortars and doing that there. Because at the end of the day, it's about selling sticks. But, cooler sticks will prevail. The wow factor of what you get in the club will have to prevail. And if the brick and mortar thinks that they're just going to stick 5 sticks in a bag and ship them out for a discounted price, that'll last for a little bit, but people will chase some of the wow factor. What do you think, Nelson?
It's already happening.
Yeah.
You're like the Nostradamus of the cigar industry.
No,
because it's you know me, Joe. I'm deep in the industry. I'm the cigar hunter, right? I'm always looking. I'm chasing, right? Whatever, whether it's negative or positive, I'm a chaser. And one thing I have seen as an ancillary thing is a lot of brick and mortars are definitely doing like cigar of the month clubs.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
but see, they got to be careful. They got to be very careful because you can't put whatever the version of the bargain bin is in that cigar club.
Right.
Unless it becomes non-regionally specific. So, for example, we here in the Northeast, Drew, might have a little bit more access to the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust than you do, right? Mm-hmm. And you have more access to some of the other stuff that we don't, right? So once you're online, those arguments go away. But I can see a lot of brick and mortar cigar shop owners throwing the bargain sticks in there and blowing them out. And then that wow factor goes away quicker, and the demand will go down, and then away you go. You know what I mean? But that's up for them, however they want to run their business. Any predictions on some of the bigger companies? I have a few.
It's funny you say that. I thought about, first company that popped in my mind is Drew Estate, right? Because they're huge. And I'm not knocking Drew Estate, but I don't see a lot of new that wow factor you're talking about, Joe. Like I just don't. They have wows, right? But
sure.
Like new wows, like new innovative stuff. I think that's what's lacking with a company like that. So it's funny. I do feel like, and we were trying to define boutiques earlier, but it's funny that at least we're still waiting for some of Joe's stuff, but Drew and I have kind of focused on what's kind of being dubbed as the boutiques. I don't know if Alec Bradley really falls in there, but yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. Are the big guys just riding their laurels that they already have, or do they have something up their sleeve for 2021? I haven't heard anything, but that's an awesome question.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't consider like La Aurora like freaking like a boutique. You know what I mean? And Alec Bradley for sure is not boutique, right there. I know that Alec Bradley will have some super cool positive vibes, like I said. I'm looking forward to see the progression if La Aurora gets in some of those Nicaraguan type stuff there. right? And who's been known to have some super cool, tasty sticks, right? And whatnot. So, but I look at, okay, like, you know, it's pretty easy to say, you know, like you know, Saka, of course, right? And Noel Rojas, we're all super fans, obviously, like that's unanimous. But like, what about like an aging room, or people who really haven't made noise, but they did make a little noise, like an EP Carrillo, or I'm waiting for a lever. I'm waiting for a lever to come up with something.
Like and the Pledge, those were pretty popular this year from Carrillo. So I mean, you're right.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean. But like, you know, like I really think like like if I were to make like some of the bigger companies, right? Like I would love to see like Oliva come up with something like super cool. You know what I mean? Like super cool. Like hyped up like Milano cool. You know what I mean? Like where
I think they need it. Right? They can only ride the Milano so long.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
it's time. It's definitely time.
It's numbers. It's numbers, right? You know, and you know, they're selling sticks. They're sought after. They're doing their thing. Their sales reps are order takers at this point, right? You can't really say, hey, this is new and there, right? You know, they've done some stuff outside technology wise to give experience to the consumer and doing that there. But some things like, you know, but then again, you know, maybe they're sitting back and looking at like, you know, hey, like, you know, Romeo and Julieta tried to do some stuff and kind of like, and not saying that Romeo and Julieta sales are down at all, you know, comparatively, but, you know, I'd like to see Oliva in that mix to do something. We know Monte Cristo has taken some bold steps and created some new stuff, right? Over the past year or so, 18 months or so, if you want to stretch that out, right? You know, Arturo Fuente is riding out some of their stuff. You look at JC Newman, right? They had a little bit of a repackaging, reblending of the Polar Del Mar, right?
Yep.
You know, if I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I apologize, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, cool, but like, what about like an aging room? Like what about an aging room? I mean, you know, they were what, number one cigar last year, right? With that, what is it? The Un Dos Tres Cuatro. Yeah, I was doing the Un Dos Tres Cuatro, right?
Sign language.
Yeah, with the aging room Cuatro, right? You know, and then, you know, 2018 stick was EP Carrillo. The Encore, right? With the Majestic. You know, what about LFD? Like you can't count like
the Bull.
Like what about LFD back in 2017? Like I'm not saying that they would be, you know, they probably would be in that mix to look out for sure, right? My father,
yeah, you know,
I don't really expect them to really move too much, right? They're dealing with the acquisition of the Fonseca brand, right?
Yeah.
And Fonseca smokers are like they're an older breed, right? And you know they might not be turned on to the current version of the Fonseca, right? So like you know they got to deal with that. So I'm like kind of like maybe not, right? Oliva I mentioned there, you know, I don't know. What about Padron?
Padron, yeah.
I considered Padron.
Like Padron, like other than an anniversario, whatever, right? What are you gonna do? Squeeze in the years, you get the 40 to 50 to 60. We do like the 45. Like what you know, they had a couple years ago that Damaso, the Connecticut one. That's right. So like, you know, they made some moves over there. And that was a good stick. It's sought after. It sells wherever I know here in the Northeast, right? So, like, what about Padron? Like, they like, you know, so these big guys, you know, the bigger companies have a little bit more sit and wait time, right?
Yeah.
Because they have stock. It was a down year. I mean, cigar sales are up. Cigar imports into the U.S. are up, right? So year over year, they're up. Cigar shops could be down, right? So, you got some distribution and inventory things going on. Cigar factories were down during COVID. They weren't running at capacity, right? I mean, layup, you got to throw CLE in there. Christian's gonna come up with something.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean? Just from us talking to Christian or Raul, and that they're gonna throw some sticks in that mix there.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Joe, because I don't know if you'll agree, but I mean, obviously, I don't think we can debate that cigar smoking has become even more popular in like the last 3 to 5 years, right? But I think COVID, if we start looking into next year, you're going to see that there was another like spike in people. I mean, I'm a side effect of that, of COVID, where cigar smoking has gone up. And I think the reason I say it's an interesting time, I think if I was a brand, I'd be looking at that, because there are people who smoke cigars and there are cigar smokers, right? Yep. And I think the population of cigar smokers, people who really give a shit about what they're smoking, I think has increased slightly during COVID. And if I was a brand, I would definitely be looking at, what is it that I can do to attract that audience?
Right. So, like, again, just to recap, I'd be interested. I think, like, Oliva is going to be a brand to watch out for. LFD, La Flora Dominicana, La Aurora, Padron's going to do something.
Yeah.
They're gonna, because you can't, if you sit, you get bored, right? And if we have more time to sit collectively as a company, we have to deal with other things that COVID has there. But like, what about Gran Habano? I'd throw him in there. He's gonna come up with 2, 3, 4 sticks, right? And make some moves too. So I think the faster we get to some set of a remote normalcy, or at least a progression towards normalcy, we're gonna see an influx. We're gonna have distribution problems, no question. Right? We're gonna have.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, we're gonna have logistical and distribution problems all over the place. If you just follow
that's why,
the boxing, the bouncing ball business wise, no question. Yeah. But we're gonna have a boatload of creativity from a lot of brands. What about crowned heads? I know I told you guys to prepare 5. I'm giving like 15. Sorry.
No,
right?
That's fine.
You know what I mean? But like I wanted the Stogie Geeks who are listening, and you guys as host, right, to just start thinking about that, because I want to be able to go back when we have whatever version of the IPCPR or PCA show and say, wow, like, we guessed a boatload of those companies as a podcast, which people might have thought was dormant because of social media and influences and all of that stuff, all focusing on that because of COVID.
Yeah, but you said something, Joe, that really triggered me in a positive way. These companies like a Padron, I'll pick on Padron for a second, right? They can't live off their name because of what I just said, right? The fact that you have more people who enjoy cigars, but care about what they're smoking. You can't just rest on your laurels if you're a Padron, because sure, for a little bit of time you'll live off your brand, but if you don't do anything new and fresh, more people are caring about that wow factor you were just talking about, Joe, than ever in the past, I would say. And if companies like a Padron, even in Arturo Fuente, although I think they're good at always coming out with new stuff, but all these companies, they have to think about, my audience is changing. I have people that are more interested in what they're smoking than just smoking a cigar. I think they have to be careful in what they're doing, and not just to write on their name.
But I don't think they have to be too careful, because although we look at it from a Stogie Geeks perspective, there is a boatload of smokers who are brand loyal, and you're not going to move them off of Padron. Or you're not going to move them off of Arturo Fluente. That's where they're at, and that's what they do, and that's super cool too, right? I mean, it's their journey ultimately, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But at the end of the day, if you look at like an economic factor or a business factor, like, there are some staples within the industry, right? Microsoft, although Windows, you got to reboot, and there's some 365 freaking kooky things that are going on. And I truthfully think that, like, G Suite is, 10 times better than 365, but it's a staple, and it's there to stay, right? And there are so many companies that try to be like a Microsoft. Like, for example, this week, very popular in stock news, Salesforce, right? Salesforce buys Slack to compete and now have a platform, combined platform to go against, like, Microsoft Teams, right? And so drifting away, but proving a point, is that, like, you can be a Padron. I think it's cool that you come up with something new, but it better be freaking good. And the bar is set higher than some of the, if you want to categorize them in a boutique, or some of the small batch that can just blow out sticks.
Yeah, I just wanted to share my thought with you on this. Is that I have a list of cigar companies that I already know that they're just sitting around, and I know this. People in the industry know this, and so they're just going to roll out with their 10th anniversary stick, their whatever anniversary stick. They're going to rebrand and repackage whatever, stick they already have on the shelf. We can kind of guess what companies those are, but, there is going to be a fall of cigars as far as, there's going to be a lot of stuff available to us, like, once this pandemic thing is done. Logistic wise, yeah, you're right. We're going to definitely have an issue. Not that you're right. You're correct in that. We're going to have an issue with that, because right now all logistic companies are going to be focusing on getting this COVID vaccine out to everybody. So with that, and in just getting all the countries involved in this process back online, importing and whatnot, and going through customs and stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit of a log jam with that. But yeah, when it comes to companies like Rocky Patel, Perdomo, and Arturo Fuentes and Padron, and I think of those companies that they're just they have enough not that they have enough success, they have successes, and so therefore they can just kind of float this time. But at the same time, I do know there's some things behind those companies that are happening, and there will be emerging once all this dust settles with COVID. And I know that right now they're all thinking about the logistics of it and how that's going to play in an important factor. So my hedge is on those companies that they'll probably end up just letting everything ride out, and it may not be until 2022 when they actually decide to go ahead and release some of the newer offerings in their portfolio. And again, I'm that's just from talking with some people on the inside and just kind of conversations, nothing secretive, nothing that I'm going to get blasted for. It's just, or we're going to get blasted for. It's just that these are the conversations that are there with these larger, what I call conglomerates, including DE. The DE system, Jesus, like as I said before, they got a portfolio of 26 different brands, 27 different brands.
Right.
That monster in itself, it's going to take a lot. And, I know they have done some internal pivoting, restructuring, sales and things of that nature. Nothing really major like Miami cigar, but that's my spin on that.
Right. What do you think? What do you think about crowned heads?
I believe that John will continue, developing and putting out the cigars out there. Just like I was listening to a couple people around the Pete Johnson forum. He's got some stuff in the works as well that he wants to get out there. But when is it going to be a great time to really get that out there, where everybody can can enjoy it, and logistics are playing a part of that too. It's slowing down that process. But yeah, I think John and guys like John and Huber and Pete Johnson, and they're just now figuring out those cogs, and once you get past it, I think that their stuff will be available to us here probably, I would say, March of this coming up year.
Now, before we wrap up, there has been a not to capacity because of COVID in the fields and in the factories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when they get ready to ramp up and discuss and create blends, my final question is, how's that going to taste?
Right.
And is it going to be like what they expected? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like businesses are now making commitments, we're not going to fly until X, and, no matter what. And that keeps getting pushed out, and we're going to work from home or limited capacity in the office till X, and that gets pushed out and changed weekly or daily. The rules.
Unless you're Christian with his own plan.
Well, that's a very good point, right? That's a very good point. Christian, like, although on different levels, like a Steve Saka doesn't sleep, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And brain's always working and stuff like that. But that's a good point. Like, but how's that gonna taste? Like, is it gonna be a crazy? Is it gonna lead to more practices within the field of less maintenance tastes better, less maintenance is bad?
So you're talking about the tobaccos that are in the ground, or the tobaccos that have already been
either or? You're not either or. We could go. We could spend another hour and talk about the stuff that's in resting, which now been resting for historically 5 years, has become 6 years.
Right.
I think
is it better?
Both,
Did
Joe.
it age out? Is it not? All those factors are going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's both, right? If you look at, you're right, because there's stuff that's been sitting, right? But there's also, like I said, I was digging a little bit into Nicaragua. I mean, I admittedly didn't look into DR or Honduras or anything, but they got affected by tons of water. Is that going to positively impact the crops, or is that going to? That's really interesting.
Yeah, those are all factors that we haven't even thought of yet, right? And even in proving my point, right? When you go back to your office, whatever version of your office is, there's going to be people who are going to be sick and get stomach viruses.
Right.
Because there's a whole, I'm not a plumber, right? Although I've done some maintenance around the house, right? I'm not a plumber, but there's a thing where, like, in office buildings or in stagnant pipes, right? There's bacteria that goes in through there, and so now we all rush back to the office. Everybody's back to work. There's a normalcy. Let's say it's 2022, and you get, like, there are office buildings that, like, were vacant for all this time, and then there's issues from a bacteria perspective. There's issues from a maintenance perspective, right? How is that going to affect that aspect as well? That, to me, is going to be interesting. I mean, how many people have we interviewed? Tim Wong comes to mind when he was going to announce the year of the ox that this year, and then he postponed that. And then when he postponed that because of COVID and wasn't the right time to launch his product, this and that, it's been sitting, right? The product's been sitting. How's it going to taste? Is it going to be originally like you thought it would? It's going to be better? Is it going to be worse? It's going to have to pivot around it? Are they going to have to change the internal process of the blend because it's not like what they originally thought it would be? Like, all those
That's so interesting.
I'm just throwing it out there because
No, but it's real.
because that's how my brain works. Like, how is this stuff gonna freaking taste? And is it gonna be better, worse, same, cool, not cool? You mentioned the floods of the field. I mean, we interviewed someone here on Stogie Geeks, an older gentleman called Richard Carlton Hacker, who wrote a book. It's the Ultimate Cigar Book, and in one of his chapters, he talks about like the fields being flooded and whatnot, and it was for the original Opus X blend. So, and
Wow.
we all know how that story went, and how that's sought after as well, and stuff like that. So,
They did okay.
so it's like you have legitimate logistics business wise, other than give us our wow factor and give us our label and we'll talk about it, but those are all going to have to be addressed as well, and I wonder how that's going to turn out. What's super exciting is it's always a chapter that will be determined for all of us. So
Yeah.
that's the way that goes. Nelson, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I mean, this is what, the second to last episode, but I'll say it here. I mean, Joe, thank you, Joe and Drew, thank you for allowing me on the show. And I'm like the redheaded stepchild that got I'm the foster child that got added to the family, and
So am I. So don't worry. Don't feel bad.
I sincerely appreciate you guys having me on. It's been an awesome journey. I love this. This is so cool to be able to do this, and the exposure I get to talk to some of the brands, and it's just super cool. And I sincerely really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it as much as you do, for sure. It's a privilege and an honor to get a chance to be here as well on this platform, the super cool platform that Paul created. And yeah, certainly. I don't know where Drew is. I think he disappeared. I see us. He got nothing. See, what, Nelson? You were going in the beginning of the show. What happened? Your computer battery or something like that?
I lost Wi-Fi. Did it even have? Did you guys even notice? I was.
Oh
hoping you
yeah,
wouldn't even
I
notice.
noticed right away because I see your feed and then I see there's no Drew, but it's all good. I'll talk for a little bit, and if he joins us, cool. If not, then we'll wrap up. But yeah, I mean, 2020 has certainly been a challenging year for brick and mortars, for factories, for anyone really in any industry. Some industries have done incredibly well, and other industries are trying to repivot and figure it out. And that's just the whole journey. And like I said in the beginning, when we were having these kind of COVID talks and we were on lockdown, I was like, 2020 will forever be a year known, not only in this industry, but in others, that will leave scars. Scars that pivoted and made us stronger, or scars that made us turn direction in business, or scars that, wow, like this will be a new way of doing business for years to come, even once we pass this this pandemic that we're in, there for sure. But I embrace the change. I look forward to a very strong 2021 for the industry. I mean, cigars are up. Cigar awareness has certainly been up.
I'm back.
Cool.
I'm back.
Cigar awareness has certainly been up. I think that it's going to be super cool for us to sit back and watch and see what blossoms into what is to come for 2021. Not only for the Stogie Geeks show and platform, but for the premium cigar industry as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on, Joe. I mean, think about it. The show has continued, right? There's always content. In fact, I think you're spot on. I think the cigar industry has maybe it hasn't financially grown, but it's definitely grown, and I think they're going to reap the benefits of that over the years to come. And I think, you said it, I think you just said it about it's changing how we operate and all that. And I think in a lot of ways in a good way. So I still feel blessed that with all of this, this show can continue. There's more people interested in stogies than in recent past. And that, there's still content. There's still an interest and still activity around the cigar industry, even with COVID.
Right. And it's going to be interesting to watch there and see, who can recover and restructure there. But I predict a lot of collaboration between brands for 2021. I can predict a little bit of consolidation. Looking forward to it. That's all I have to say in regards to that. Next week, programming note will be our last show for the year because we will not do Stogie Geeks on Christmas or New Year's Day. Or is that Eve? I don't know. It's one of those. There wise.
New Year's Day.
Yeah. So
it's on a Friday.
Yeah. So Christmas and New Year's Day fall there. So next week will be our last show of 2020. And Nelson, Drew, and I have a couple of surprises for you Stogie Geeks. So you definitely want to tune in to that show. And then I believe we'll be back the first week of January, which I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it's a Friday. So unless we pivot to another day, that's to be determined, Stogie Geek. So you want to definitely stay close to us on the website, stogiegeeks.com. Email all of your complaints to Drew at stogiegeeks.com.
Yes.
Yes.
It's crazy. Next episode will be Stogie Geeks episode 350.
350.
350.
Holy crap.
So super cool. Drew.
It'll be an ugly sweater wearing day next week.
Yeah,
guys.
I usually break out my ugly sweater for that day. I might do that.
I love that. Everyone has to wear an ugly sweater.
Okay.
Love it.
That's right.
All right. So programming.
And we have to wear a hat with a bell on it.
Wear your ugly sweater. And Drew, thank you for your time and for joining us here. On
Somebody cut my cord. I don't know who did. I think one of the cigar gods came by and cut my cord real quick. I don't know what happened. I got dropped out somehow.
Surprised a couple vendors who questioned my integrity didn't come and rush here and cut my cord. I'll just stand in the parking lot and scream. Johnny will film me. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I sent my coin back in. It was
did you?
Oh yeah.
Nice. You mailed it back?
Oh,
nice.
There's a story I'll tell you off air.
Wait, what are we talking about? All right.
Yeah. If you did, then I will too. I threw away my scissors and cutter, but it's
moving on.
I thought we gave those away.
But they are not in my little thing, and
Okay.
I need a new leather folio too, because I gotta cross out the logo on this one if I haven't been asked to leave. So anyway, Nelson, thank you for joining us.
Good to see you guys
here on
always a pleasure.
Stogie Geeks. I want to thank you for watching and listening. Remember, we keep the conversation going all week long. Visit us on stogiegeeks.com. Email all of your complaints to Drew at Stogie Geeks. Behind every cigar, there's a story worth knowing. Get out there and learn some knowledge. You want to share your story with us? Email Nelson at stogiegeeks.com. Stogie Geeks, thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Peace.